Hello, Kingswood. I'm Roxy Hale.
And I'm Laura Fernandez, and this week is Night Watch. This week, we'll be discussing homecoming, Kingswood's talk, and much more.
Stay tuned. Hey, Laura, you going to the hallway decorating tonight?
Of course, I think freshman theme is construction.
That sounds really fun. All right, let's get into it. Homecoming dance tickets are being sold now for $10 and are non-transfundable. Tickets will be sold during all lunches, so buy them while you can. Only 400 tickets will be sold. The dance will be October 14th from 7 to 10.
Attention student drivers. Parking behind the LRTC is reserved for staff only. Please keep a clear driveway for deliveries. Parking for students is only permitted in the Art Center and Alumni Field parking lots. Please avoid parking in the dirt near the water tower, as buses need a clear driveway for drop-off and pickup. Students parked illegally are subject to loss of privileges on campus. In addition, we will automatically put a Night Watch bumper sticker on your car. Yeah, we're playing hardball.
Registration is now open for the James Foley Freedom Run. This 5K walk/run honors Kingswood alumni James Foley, who was tragically murdered as an act of terrorism in 2014. All proceeds from the run will go to the James W. Foley Legacy Foundation, created in his honor by his mother, Diane Foley. The foundation does amazing work honoring Jim's legacy of moral courage and advocating for American hostages held abroad. Registration is $20 with a code. See Miss Marie Du Carmo in room 211 for details. This run will be taking place on Saturday, October 14th at 8 a.m. at the James W. Foley Community Center in Rochester.
Attention all girls interested in joining the girls' ice hockey team. You must register by Sunday, October 15th. Please visit kingsathletics.com to register. If you have any questions, please visit Mr. House. All other winter athletes will have until November 5th to register. However, girls' ice hockey must close registration earlier to accommodate preseason planning. So register now.
On Friday, October 20th, My Career, My Future will be presenting guest speaker Jason Roy, Market Health and Wellness Director from Walmart Pharmacy. He'll be discussing healthcare opportunities, why healthcare at Walmart makes sense, the evolution of the practice and professions of pharmacy, finding an organization that aligns with your values and enriches your whole life. The presentation will be taking place in the Wentworth Room of the LRTC. If you are interested in attending, sign up for task with Miss Ouellette. Email questions to joulette@governorwentworth.k12.nh.us.
Breast Cancer Awareness Day will be Friday, October 13th. Breast cancer is the second most common cancer for women, and approximately 240,000 are diagnosed with the disease a year. Please be sure to do what you can to remember those who have passed from the disease, and make sure to reach out to those who've conquered it.
Kingswood Stock is just around the corner. Kingswood Stock is the Fall Music Department's concert and will consist of a series of solo, duet, and music group artists. Come celebrate Kingswood's finest musicians with us on October 19th at 6 p.m. in the Kingswood Arts Center.
And here's the sports schedule for the week.
Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the lunch menu for next week.
Monday is French toast sticks.
Tuesday, chicken drumsticks.
Wednesday, American chop suey.
Thursday, sausage sub.
And finally, Friday, you guessed it, pizza.
And now, here's Paige with the weather.
Hello Kingswood, I'm Paige Caruso and I'm here with your weekend weather forecast. So tomorrow, Friday night, for the football game, it's going to be pretty good, typical October weather. It's going to be a little bit on the chilly side, and it's going to be very, very windy. So any of you guys playing for the football team, make sure to look out for those wind speeds because those could really mess you up. On Saturday, it's going to get a little bit warm with a high of 60 degrees. Winds are still going to be pretty strong, but hopefully those coldness from the winds will be counteracted from the sun. And as we get on to Sunday, it's going to be a little bit chillier and not as much sun, but luckily not big wind speeds at all. So hopefully that will make it feel a little bit warmer than it actually is, but that's not quite as likely. Still a pretty chilly weekend out there. Now, as you can see from this map, we don't have much clouds coming in towards New Hampshire, so that means a lower chance of precipitation and a higher chance of sun. Sun's mostly going to still be in the partly cloudy range though, so keep an eye out for that. Hurricane Lydia made landfall earlier this week in Mexico, and it's going to avoid New Hampshire completely, going more towards the South Carolina area, and this is because of the way the wind works, and winds will be going more towards northeast-east rather than north-northeast, which is where New Hampshire is located. So luckily, we won't be getting any of the remnants for that, so there will be a nice sunny weekend, avoiding any chance of rain at all. I'm Paige Caruso, and that was your weekend weather forecast.
And now, we go to our nepotism section of the show with senior entertainment correspondent, Crescent Lake 6th grader, Gabriel Giesler. Today, Gabriel talks about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Hello, I'm Gabriel, and I'm going to talk to you about the FNAF film. What's good, what's bad about it, and I'll also be talking about why Springtrap shouldn't be in this movie. So starting off, I'm surprised they made Springtrap the biggest villain instead of going with something normal, like Freddy, or even Golden Freddy. But hey, we have about a month left until this movie comes out, and so far I've seen no complaints about it. But I do have a little complaint with the eyes, even though they changed them back to yellow instead of red. So I think they probably should have went to a outside yellow into inside black instead of yellow into red. But now for the part you've all been waiting for, why Springtrap shouldn't be in this movie. Okay, hear me out. You might be thinking, why is this child that for some reason on Night Watch saying Springtrap shouldn't be in this movie? Well, sit down, because do I have reasons for you? Okay, so if we have William Afton already in this movie, and he's not dead, how is Springtrap here? Because there's no way he gives Mike Schmidt the job. Then the Springlock scene happens, because when he gets Springlocked, he stays in the safe room for 30 years, and then comes back to try and kill Mike. Like, there's no way. But, so, yeah, Big Scary Robot Rabbit seems like a weird concept when you think about it, but hold up. You know what? Never mind. The point is, I hope this movie shows how Springtrap is in this movie, but that's my time. So, now, back to the desk.
That kid knows more about Five Nights at Freddy than I do about math.
Yeah.
And lastly, we go to our correspondent, Paige Caruso, on her segment about exploring biases. Today, anime and manga.
I'm Paige Caruso, and I will be looking at how bias shapes our views on others. I will be attempting to find ways to get rid of the biases that we all have. When the television was first invented in 1927, nobody would have assumed how far that it could have gone. Nowadays, there are many forms of media to consume: movies, films, novels, comics, and video games. Yet of all these categories, a subcategory exists. A subcategory many people go out of their way to appear as though they do not consume: anime and manga. Many are embarrassed to admit they watch anime or read manga, but why? What specifically makes these formats embarrassing? Some of the series that the Western media has covered or aren't necessarily considered uncool to enjoy include Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, and Jujutsu Kaisen. All of these shows are either in the shonen or seinen genres, shonen meaning young boys and seinen meaning young men. Both of these categories are meant to reach mainly a male audience, contain male main characters, and are typically action-based. However, even though these categories are typically more accepted than shoujo, or girl series, many still hide the fact that they read or watch any form of manga and anime at all. Now, I personally believe there are many wonderful series that don't really get attention in Western media, despite their successful runs in Japan. Series such as Fruits Basket, Nana, and Blood on the Tracks aren't talked about as openly, despite being hits in Japan. But why? It may be due to the idea of what is considered cool here in Western media in the North America. So what necessarily makes this format embarrassing? Many are open when talking about adult animation, comics, and cartoons. Where does the negative connotation come from when it comes to anime and manga? Many have cited fandoms, or weeaboos, die-hard obsessive fans, for their distaste in anime and manga. Many try to dissociate themselves from these sorts of people. Teenagers would prefer to seem nonchalant in their interests rather than die-hard fans for certain shows or books. When looking at these biases, one may think that these associations aren't really a big deal. Liking or disliking a foreign media shouldn't be a polarizing thing. When it comes to the grand scheme of things, one should not assume that this is life or death. Yet these biases and assumptions we make about people, about what they like, do end up becoming a determining factor into how we perceive a person's personality, their being as a whole. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Paige Caruso.
Am I going to see you at the homecoming game?
Of course. Are you going to the dance?
Obviously. All right, let's go Knights!
Woo!
Thank you for tuning in this week. We're your anchors, Roxy Hale
And Laura Fernandez. See you next time for another fantastic segment of Night Watch.